My name is Carol Nelson Johnson, and my connection with Mission Springs is through my grandparents, who were members of the Covenant Church in San Francisco. And the people there decided they needed a place where they could get away. So they went out hunting for some property to buy, and they found Mission Springs and put a down payment on it. And I think it belonged to Mr. Lockhart, like the street's name. And then they started selling parcels so people could build cabins, and my grandparents' cabin was one of the first ones that was built. And it was on a hill, so at the back of it, the front of it was on stilts and the back of it was on the ground. Does that make sense? So we spent many, many summers there. And I think one of the main things that was so much fun about going to Mission Springs is seeing our once-a-year friends. We didn't see them any other time, but they were always there because their families had purchased land and built a cabin. And so that was our friendships, and that's where I met Esther. And the changes that have been made at Mission Springs, they're just subtle ones, but they're all good, positive ones. And I know there's more in the making, but they need to do some fundraising too. They've done the things where they didn't have to get a permit. Santa Cruz is terrible for giving permits out. So one of them is the dining room. They're going to I think they're going to make a new dining room. The Fireside Hall, I think, is going to be the dining room, isn't it? Yeah. For 2 years out of our growing up years, my siblings and me, we lived in that 2-room cabin at Mission Springs that Grandpa had built. My dad was building our house in San Carlos, so instead of renting a house somewhere near him, we stayed at the cabin, went to school at Scotts Valley, and the bus came by and picked us up at the bridge every morning, and that was a different experience. And my teacher actually rented a house in Mission Springs. And the principal of the school was a Christian, and my mother got a job working for him, so she rode the bus with us. It was the whole clan on the bus. And another memory is the little country store. Do you remember that? Yeah, that's where we got our staples for our meals. And my dad had the car because he had to go to work. So we walked to that little country store and bought our groceries. And we had a big family, so it's quite a few people in our cabin. And we sold the one cabin that Grandpa had built to Lola Anderson. You know Lola. And my parents bought another cabin at the end of Heritage Drive, the big one at the end, and we had like 14 to 16 people in there during the conference. It was so much fun. And then my mother would make her Swedish pancakes. She'd have 2 frying pans going at the same time, trying to keep up with the big kids that ate a lot. And that was just another memory that popped into my mind. And one thing that I really enjoyed was at Cathedral Grove, and it was probably the 4th of July, not the Sunday that we would go during the conference. And the 3 trumpeters, is that the way you call them? 3 men that played the trumpet played Star Spangled Banner. Did you ever hear those? That they did away with it. And I really miss that. That was really starting the celebration of 4th of July. Anyway, my hope for Mission Springs is that it will continue to be God's way to serve the community and find a lot more souls that will belong to Him, and it'll grow, and no more fires. That was the second fire we'd had a warning. When we lived there those 2 years, there was a fire warning, and only one rode out back then. And so we kept listening to hear the bell ring and we didn't hear it, thank goodness. So, I mean, I could probably go on, but this is the main things that popped into my mind that I thought I'd share.
Good, thank you. Did you go to camp?
Oh yeah, that was...
What can you tell us about what camp was like?
Well, they didn't have hot showers, I'll tell you that. And it was down on the flat.
Yeah.
The girls' dorm, which burned to the ground, was where we stayed. And that was before Frontier Ranch was established.
Right.
Had a good time there, see the same friends, and they were good counselors, and I think the counselors benefited from it as much as us campers did. Well, my folks had 4 kids,
Yeah.
and then we all had kids. And there was actually, you count 5 bedrooms, but the bedroom was enough room for a bed and a dresser. And then we had bunk beds in one of the bedrooms because had to have room for them to sleep. I called Arnold this morning. I didn't remember. I know it was when we were teenagers.
Mm.
Yeah, and it was 1954.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, we didn't know anything about a swimming pool. We had fun no matter what we were doing. Ping pong was big back then. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And there was another swimming pool. Was it in... Oh, no, I can't remember. It's further into the valley. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
But that was special to go there because it cost us money.
Yeah.
Well, we would hike, make lots of trails. My brother made a trail, and I think he charged 3 cents to go on it, and he had things named and showed different things, and that was one thing that he had done. But the coffee shop, that was too bad. They got rid of the coffee shop, but I know it's way too busy now to have something that small, because we'd spend all day in the coffee shop. What did we usually get? A cherry Coke. We didn't have any money in those days. None of us had jobs. So I remember that was my favorite, a cherry Coke.
The next 100 years, looking forward, what do you hope for the space?
Well, that it'll continue to flourish. And not too many more redwood trees would be cut down. Except the ones behind our cabin.
Yeah.
Cost us $2,400 to cut down that sucker. And that wasn't even hauling it away.
Yeah.
So we said, leave it there, it'll rot. Yeah, but I see nothing but good for the future for Mission Springs with the way it's run, and I'm sure they're very careful with all of the expenses they have. I would love to go up there and volunteer, but I'm too old. I didn't even work on in staff any of the years we spent there. We wanted to go play. Oh, the initials?
Yeah.
Oh, those are priceless.
I know. Did you have any experience of that, or you? No?
Oh, the kids were doing it when I was in school there. Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd make their initials the biggest on the water tank, or
Right.
yeah. I don't know how many times it got covered. Yeah, that's a historic place.
Yeah.
On the way up past Cathedral Grove where it gets really narrow and there's that cement wall,
Yeah.
it gets full of moss. I put my initials in there.
Okay.